When the Lumix S9 first came out, I honestly thought I knew exactly what it was. A smaller, condensed version of the S5 II with the same sensor, 6K open gate, all the anamorphic features, and everything else packed into the S5 II, but shrunk down into a much smaller, everyday body. And all of that sounds great, but the truth is that every time I went to pick up a camera, whether it's for a professional shoot or just for myself to go out and do some photography, I would always pick up the S5 II or more recently the S1R2 instead of the S9 because they just felt like better, more substantial tools for the job. But looking back now, I am starting to realise that I've got it a little bit wrong. I've misunderstood the Lumix S9, if you like. I'm a big fan of the Lumix S9, but I've just been using it in the wrong scenarios. I think a lot of people used to look at the S9 and assume that it was not necessarily meant to replace the S5 II, but it was meant to equal it, but in a much smaller, compact, everyday body that was slightly cheaper. I've come to realise that if you expect this camera to perform like your main camera, you might be a little bit disappointed. And when I say that, I don't mean in terms of image quality and everything you're getting from the S9, because when it comes to that, it is an incredibly capable camera and it will not let you down at all. I just mean in terms of usability. If you start to look at the S9 as a little bit of a creative companion, something to carry with you everywhere you go, every single day, your everyday carry camera, that is where the S9 really starts to shine. Think about how many times that you've been out and about and you've seen something that you want to capture a quick photo of, or maybe even a short video clip, but you've not got your camera with you. And if you're anything like me, you hate using your iPhone for photography. I hate using my iPhone for photography. I despise it, but that is for another video entirely. I'm not getting into that right now. But if you do fancy a video on why I hate iPhone photography and I think it's crap, let me know in the comments down below and I'll probably get around to making a video about that. But anyway, that gap between your main camera and your phone is where the S9 sits. And this is a ridiculously capable camera to sit right in the middle of those two. The best way that I can think of describing this is that the S9 is almost a little bit like an iPad. So your phone is super quick and convenient. Your main camera is powerful and your absolute workhorse. The S9 sits right in the middle of that, a little bit like an iPad does for an iPhone and a Mac. It's creative, it's portable, and it's fun, and it's capable of some serious work when you need to. But that's what for me the S9 has been more recently, and it obviously sits way closer towards the professional side of things than it does towards the mobile phone photography side of things, because it's a full frame sensor, incredibly capable, but it just sits nicely in that middle ground when I don't want to take my main camera out and I don't want to shoot photography with my phone. The S9 is designed to just make photography feel fun and easy again. And honestly, I think a lot of us need that balance sometimes, and just the ability to be able to go and create something without the pressure. I know when it comes to my photography, I don't capture anywhere near enough of those moments that I just see in my day and I want to capture just because I can. Because most of my photography is very precise and thought out and almost planned, because I'm thinking about every single element all of the time, whether that's composition, lighting, how it will look in the edit. But something that it has taken me a long time to realize is that photography doesn't have to be all of that all of the time, and sometimes you can allow it to be a much simpler process and not worry about anything and just capture memories, and there's a different sort of magic to that. It started to click for me when I stopped using the S9 in the same way as I do my S5 II and S1R2. They are my true workhorses when it comes to the photography that I take seriously. But with the S9, I decided to start shooting JPEGs using real-time LUT and using it a little bit more like a digital point and shoot. Just taking it for a walk and having on me all of the time, taking it everywhere I go. And suddenly it became fun again, and I realized that there is more to photography than just taking it seriously, and I can allow myself to have two different areas of photography that work well together. So one where I'm taking it seriously and I'm thinking about absolutely everything that I want to create as the best image that I possibly can, and another one where I don't have to worry about sitting at a laptop and editing and colors and things like that, because I get everything straight in camera. And that works just as well as that does, but in a different way, and they can both work together. Because I've always been so into my main area of photography, I've never put enough time and effort into in-camera JPEGs and creating a look straight out of camera, because it has never particularly interested me. So real-time LUT is something that I'll be honest and say I've not really paid enough attention to, because I enjoy editing photos. I'm weird like that. I know a lot of people aren't, and a lot of people hate editing photos. I enjoy editing photos. So for that reason, I never really got fully on board with it. Even though I could see why it was cool and it was beneficial to others, I couldn't see how I could fit it into my workflow. But using the S9 as a camera just to capture more moments and memories of everyday life, you obviously end up with a lot more photos, and I don't want to spend hours more editing all of these extra photos. So that is where I started to realize how real-time LUT could start to work for me and how much fun it can be. If you haven't used real-time LUT, just do it. I know I've been incredibly slow to fully embrace it, but it's genuinely a lot of fun, and I really wish I started to use it a lot longer ago. A lot longer ago? Is that good English? A lot longer ago? I don't know. Download some LUTs and load in some custom looks and just go and shoot and have some fun and experiment with it all. If you're not entirely sure where to start with all of this, because it can be a little bit confusing when you're first trying to get your head around it, go and check out Ross and his JPEGs YouTube channel. If you've not heard of it, you'll absolutely love it. He is an absolute genius when it comes to LUTs and colors and creating all of these almost film emulation looks to put into your Lumix cameras. Make sure to go and check out his channel, because he makes it so easy to understand. When you start taking photos like this, you very quickly start to remember the beauty that there is in imperfections, which when it comes to photography, I think we all tend to forget quite a lot, because we're all looking to create the perfect image, which never actually really exists, but we're always looking to create the sharpest, cleanest image that we possibly can. I'm incredibly bad for this, because I want to be able to create the best images that I possibly can. Photography isn't always about that, and sometimes it is just about a moment or a memory, and I think shooting JPEGs and creating a look straight out of camera using real-time LUT is something that it reminds you of that, and I think that can be quite powerful in photography. Not everything has to be perfect. I spoke about this in a previous video, which was all about the Oasis tour program. I will link it down below, but the photographer Brian Cannon that made that album, he created all of the Oasis sleeves from the 90s. He talks a lot about imperfections in his work and is absolutely brilliant. I think it's something we should all start to remember, and I think shooting like this is a bit of a reminder about that as well. But you'll also start to take more photos because you're not thinking about post-processing as well. It can just be a really good way of freeing you up. And for a lot of us, that's what photography always used to be about before we got further into this rabbit hole and turned it into a career. And this is something that I'm actually going to be talking about in my next newsletter. So if you're interested in that, you can sign up with the link down below. It's something that I'm planning on putting a lot more time into over the next few months as well, and sharing things that I don't always get to talk about in YouTube videos as well. Things like behind the scenes thoughts and photography projects and different creative ideas that I might be exploring. If that sounds like your kind of thing, you can sign up to the newsletter in the description down below. I would love to have you a part of that community, and I'm also considering setting up a Facebook group or a Discord or something like that for all of the members of the newsletter. So if you want to be the first to hear about that, the newsletter is the place to be. And actually, while we're on that, let me know which platform you think would be best. Facebook, Discord, something else. Let me know in the comments. I think one of the most underrated things about the Lumix S9 is how it can fit into so many different workflows. It is incredibly capable, especially when you factor in the price of it as well. For a full frame camera, interchangeable lenses, 6K open gate, Vlog, anamorphic, IBIS, all of that, it is an unbelievable camera. However, what has changed the way that I used the S9 most recently is real-time LUT. And I know it has taken me a hell of a long time to fully embrace that. But like I mentioned before, I like editing my photos, and it was hard to sort of pull myself away from that, even if it is just for everyday photography. I was that into that I found it really hard to embrace real-time LUT. But using the S9 with real-time LUT recently, I've been missing out a hell of a lot, and I can't imagine using the S9 without real-time LUT now. I mainly use 2 looks that I've added into my Lumix S9, and both are from Ross and his JPEGs. Make sure you go and check out his channel if you haven't already. It is absolutely brilliant, but I use his Ilford HP5 and Kodak Portrait 800 looks, and they are amazing. They're simple, they're timeless, and they give you that film-like character straight out of camera. And that's the thing that makes the Lumix S9 and real-time LUT so special, because it is so customizable, and the possibilities with what you can create in camera are endless, and it is so easy to do as well. And it has helped me separate my photography out into 2 different worlds, where I've got my much slower, much more intentional photography where I'm thinking about absolutely everything, my more professional area of photography if you like, and then I've got just my everyday photography where I've not got to worry about what I'm doing. I can just capture a moment, a memory, everyday life, and it looks great straight out of camera. And it has reminded me as well that photography doesn't always need to be perfect, and it's just sometimes about capturing a moment. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and let me know as well if you have changed your opinions on the Lumix S9 since it first came out 18 months or so ago now. It is an incredibly capable camera, and it fits into so many different areas and workflows. It is brilliant. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you want to watch another video all about the Lumix S9, I recommend you go and watch this video next, and I'll see you there.